I need to get my. Good morning, everyone. I'm very happy to be chairing this meeting with the knowledge that I will not have to do that job later. So on the head table here, we have Lydia Middleton, Executive Director, and Abebe Rorisa, President-elect. And normally we have a parliamentarian here, but he was called home for a family emergency on Monday, and Treasurer is going to join us via Zoom because she's not feeling well. So at this moment, I'd like all of us to take a moment of silence to remember the ASIS members who have passed during this past year, including Carlos Quadra, Robert Hayes, Ross Todd, and Thomas Froelich. I had the pleasure of interacting a lot with Thomas Froelich in his past year, and we did a panel together and talked a lot interacted over email as well, but let's remember them now. Thank you. So I'll start with my report, which is not much actually. When I came to the annual meeting last year, I spoke to a number of past presidents, and there was Andy Dillon. I asked him, Andy, what should I do? He said, just talk to people. So I said, okay, that's what I'm going to do. So when I came here and spoke last year in the role that what Abebe is going to do today, I said that I will not come up with my own presidential initiatives, but rather follow the strategic plan which has been developed for the year 2020 to 2025, so that there's continuity in our efforts over the years, and each president is not trying to come and do something new which is apart from the strategic plan, so we all follow in the progress that we have made and continue to make. So in the endeavor, people were just recovering from COVID when I took over, and we've still perhaps not fully recovered. And we were talking to people who were stretched thin in many different ways. So in such a circumstance, rather than telling people a whole lot what to do, we are a society, an association of very smart people. My thought was to not get in the way of people and to help people succeed in whatever they were doing. And we all have, this is an association of not just very smart people, but smart people combined with goodness. So we have members who are good people and smart people, and that's what makes ASIS so unique. And to these good people, it was all about listening to them and making sure that I could be there for them in whichever ways they would want me to be. So with Lydia's help, we sent out individual emails to every member, and a number of them responded over email, and many of them wanted to meet me, and I held one-on-one meetings with many members. And in March, we had a meet the board sessions where we had 2 sessions where the board members were available to meet members. And sometime before the annual meeting, we also had a town hall with Lydia and I, where many members were able to join from across the world in different time zones. And we asked them about 3 questions: what's working well, what's not working well, and what can we do to help improve things that are not working well. And we got some really good responses and feedback. And we always take that feedback into consideration when we're trying to think about what should we be doing next. I also went to a number of chapter meetings whenever I could. And one of the major themes that I had in my mind was being more international. And those efforts have started many years ago as we changed the name from the American Society for Information Science and Technology to the Association for Information Science and Technology. And we have Diane Sonnenwald here, who also played a pivotal role at that point. And I was, I had the opportunity to work with Diane in different roles, perhaps as chair of the membership committee at that point. So towards that effort, I took on this job of trying to get an international flavor to our website. So we picked one page, which is the About ASIS page, and invited members and to contribute to translating them into their own languages. And many non-members contributed to that effort as well. And now we have those page translations in 28 languages, and you can see those languages represented in the About ASIS page, which includes languages like Arabic, Bangla, Chinese, French, German, Hindi, Italian, Japanese, Nepali, Persian, Spanish, Tibetan, Urdu. The Tibetan translation was by my old retired school teacher, and I requested him to translate. I thought it'll take a few weeks to get it done. He called me up the next morning and said that it took me 9 hours. Yeah, so there were a lot of those, but I hope that that this effort continues. In this meeting itself, I was able to recruit 2 of our young members to have them have the speech translated to 2 African languages, Yoruba and Efik. So I'm hoping that many of you, if you don't see the languages you speak out there, you'll come forward to help translate the page to that. We also had efforts towards asking our members especially chapters, to hold events in local languages. And we had some of those, especially in South Asia and I think in Europe as well. And that is again another effort where we want to see more and more events in languages apart from English. And so that along with the programming in English, we also have a flavor where people see much more of themselves and see ASIS as a part of who they are, and to see and find themselves in ASIS. And we have Information Matters now, and with our content in Information Matters coming out also in Spanish, and what is it? Chinese. And Chinese. So we are beginning to look more and more international, not just in these efforts, but in the very core of our membership, where I think for the very first time, we have close to 2,400 members now. And what I knew of a few years ago was 1,400 members. And so we have really grown, and we're growing. So that's a very strong sign, because there was a time when a membership was going down. And in that now, as we move from the American Society to an international association, I'm proud to say that we have officially surpassed the number of members outside of North America to more than the members that we have in North America. So that's a huge milestone to our going international. And we did other things. We carried out a member survey, and the membership committee came up with a very, very nice and detailed report on the responses. And we got, like, I think 315 responses. And a fairly large chunk of our members have been members for more than 21 years. And we had Inside ASIS that comes out every 2 months. And we also had weekly emails to members. And one of my other things was to recognize that ASIS is so valuable and so powerful is because of our mentorship. We have a lot of formal and informal ways of mentoring people. This is as an association where we routinely have members for more than 30 years, sometimes more than 40 years, coming to this annual meeting. And they're all very, very approachable, and they have been to me. And I'm hoping that every new member will feel that the ASIS members have been there for them. And we have had the New Leaders Program. And even in the past year, we had the proposal from the Professional Development Committee to have an early career mentoring program. The Africa chapter had its own flavor of mentoring. And I wanted to institutionalize that to an ASIS-wide mentoring program where every person has a mentor and every person is a mentee to someone. And we formed a task force to discuss that. And the task force felt that it should not be a mandated thing, but it should be something that people opt into. So we decided to, recognizing that mentorship is hard and it needs to be thought through really carefully to get it right. We had a number of meetings of the task force, and we decided to start small in the first year. And we have 2 things that got launched out. One, the ASIS-wide mentorship, as well as the early career research mentorship by the Professional Development Committee. And in that effort, I'm not sure of the exact numbers now. Do we have the number of pairings?
Between the two programs, about 50.
So about 50, yeah, about 50 pairings of, so that means about 100 people. So 50 mentors and 50 mentees that are there. And there might still be people who are showing interest in that, but we want to make sure that this works and people meet regularly, and this effort continues. And again, the Professional Development Committee is going to look at the success of this program, and we will make changes as that proceeds. And in this meeting as well, the mentors and mentees had a chance to meet. So there were 4 major themes in the strategic plan. The first one was supporting, engaging, and growing the ASIS community. Second was improving ASIS publications. And I think there are 2 more. Improving knowledge sharing opportunities is the third one. And fourth is developing and implementing co-opetition opportunities with affiliate information associations, global organizations, industry partners, and practitioner organizations. So almost everything that we did in the past year fit into these themes, and they were tactics that we had in the strategic plan. So towards supporting, engaging, and growing the ASIS community, we have now a second year of our distinguished member program. Again, Lydia can help me with the latest numbers with that. How many distinguished members do we have?
71.
So we have 71 distinguished members. I think it was 26 or something in the first year. So now that count has grown to 71. And you'll find people with these pins called distinguished members. And if you're a new member, catch hold of those people. Make sure that they don't leave the meeting without giving you any advice. And also and if you can get a commitment with them to have lunch or coffee or dinner with you, or just to have a chat with you over Zoom, because those are wonderful people, and you are wonderful people. So it's the past, the present, and the future, which kind of is a continuous ebb and flow within ASIS, and we're all there for each other. And sometimes I feel that it's not just the mentees. It's not just me. I think the committee felt that it's not just the mentees that learn and grow in the interaction with the mentors, but the mentors themselves get mentored as well in the process. So there's a lot that we gain and learn from each other. We formed a task force of the diversity, equity, the inclusion and accessibility task force. We call it IDEA now. And so Jaya Rajan, Clara Chu, they chaired that effort, and the task force has, there was a report that was done in the past, and the task force met a number of times this year, and is going to make a recommendation very soon about the specific priorities that we do going forward, and in what timeline should we do that. And then we have towards improving ASIS publications. There was a lot of work done in the past 2 years on this, and this work continued during the past year. We have a thriving Information Matters now, which was a brand new publication, but the idea was that we go beyond the ASIS name and we go into the wider information community and get people to see our content in a more informal and more accessible format. And later on, there's a report by Chirag where we'll be able to give you specific statistics, but that's something that we're very, very proud and happy about. So thank you, Chirag, for all your efforts on that. And we also have AirRist, which is a huge demand by members for many years to bring back AirRist. So AirRist is back, and Lisa Given is the editor of that, and we will be having a first round. I think first issue should be coming out this year. So the people in February. So people have been submitting and actively participating in that effort too. And we had discussions on a new journal apart from JSIST as well, and that was supposed to be an open access journal. So the board had a lot of deliberations on that and discussions with the publications committee as to how can we balance our values for open access with the financial needs of an association towards doing things right, and in a way where the board made a lot of investments in the past 2 years of investing back into the association financially, but for about 2 or 3 years. But we want to make sure that whatever efforts we invest in, they are at least, if not profit making, they're at least break even. So that it was my job as president, and it's the job of the board to make sure that we always remain financially and fiscally sound. And Lydia has been doing a great job of that into ensuring that whatever programming we provide to members are for either for a fee or for no fee to members, but there is a small fee at least levied to non-members so that people see the value of doing things, of being an ASIS member. And then towards having, the discussions of that open access journal of what it can be, we have decided to shelve any more new investments in this past year, largely because some of our stock money, we lost money in the stock market, but that was a phenomenon of the wider market. And so we want to make sure that until the time when we recover from that, we don't invest more in initiatives where we don't see that we will break even. But I had the conversations with Marjorie yesterday where she suggested that we could think of a preprint server, an open preprint server, rather than a fully open access journal. So again, those are conversations that continue, and I'm sure they will find some good solutions to that. Another idea was to have the iSchools involved, where each of the iSchools contributes towards supporting this an open access, which can be a journal not of the ASIS but of the iFederation. So we will have to find open access is always desirable but not free. Somebody has to pay for it. We didn't want to go with the author payment model, so we have to make sure that the sustenance of that journal again becomes something that we can do. There was another hard decision that I had to make as president, and we as the board, was to ensure that this meeting is fully face-to-face and not hybrid or online. And a number of members wanted that, and I had one-on-one conversations with a lot of members. Lydia and I both wrote about it in our Inside ASIS columns to explain why it is so important to hold this annual meeting face-to-face. What we have in the sessions is important, but what we talk outside of those sessions in the hallways and on tables across meals and all of that is what makes ASIS so unique. And if we get rid of that component, and it's very difficult right now with the kind of technology that we have to replicate the same thing in an online format. So, and in a hybrid setting, again, we found last year that we were walking into rooms where there were 1 or 2 people in the audience and about 7 or 8 people on a Zoom screen. So, and you might end up feeling that, why am I here in a conference if I could be there on Zoom? So, and the other thing that happens with an online conference is that we don't relieve ourselves of work. We get ahead and we have our work and teaching and everything else going on. So we do not have the kind of immersion at the time that to engage in a meeting as we can do when we come to a face-to-face meeting. And the members that we have had for years, for decades in ASIS, I doubt if they would have been that level of committed members if all our meetings were online or even hybrid. So face-to-face meetings are important to preserve, but to recognize the needs for accessibility and for people who cannot travel to the annual meeting, we had our inaugural 24-hour global conference, which again was being planned for a number of years. And it was a great event across the different 8-hour blocks in different time zones. So people had programming in their own time, and Lydia was up for the entire 24 hours during that period. And but so we learned some things from there. So now we do want to have a 24-hour conference, but not in 24 hours, with 8-hour chunks on 3 different days. And the deadline for that is December 13th, and the conference will be we are calling it the media conference now, not a 24-hour conference. And that will be, so December 13th is the submission deadline, and the conference is in April. So please submit your proposals to those for papers, panels, and other kinds of submissions, because making that successful is very important to ensure that we meet the needs of people who also want to have a virtual conference. And over time, we want to have this virtual conference for people who cannot travel, and an annual meeting where we can all travel and meet in person, and to do each of those well, rather than trying to do both in one meeting. And we also had a hybrid meeting, which was the Information Science Summit, which was an ASIS, ALICE, and I conference meeting, which went really well. And it was a very a one-day session, but it was our attempt to reach out to the industry, because we always have we have to balance the needs of the academics, which is greater in number in ASIS, with that of the industry. And we had a similar discussion in the past president's reception last evening as well. So one of the things is to always try to have programming and efforts, and even have iFederation coming together to meet the needs of our people in practice as well. And we were very happy to have the Special Libraries Association join us. I did a number of talks and panels in different events in an Iranian conference. When I was representing ASIS, I was joined by the president of ALA, then the president of the IFLA, and president of the Public Libraries Association. And so there were a number of activities and places where we could get together. I had a new leader, Alicia Takaoka, work with me, and we did a number of things. One was to develop an exhaustive list of associations, LIS associations across the world in different regions. And so we have now that as a very detailed and a running list. And the next step, which Abebe can take on, is to think about, and you all can perhaps suggest as well, is to what do we do with that list? Is now that we know that who our member associations are. So yes, the South Asia chapter actually organized an event where they had more than 30 associations apart from ASIS participate in that effort. So we have a lot of, and I also had, when I went to India, I met with the president of the Indian Library Association. So we have a lot of opportunities to collaborate more. And we already have in iConnect, we have an affiliate, what's it? Yep, now we have in iConnect, we have an affiliates place where people not affiliated with ASIS can contribute. So all of those are various ways in which we can engage people outside of ASIS as well. And we started the Information Matter started a podcast series, which is again part of our strategic plan. And this year, an effort will be to curate all the content into something that fits into different SIGs. And we have a very successful webinar structure, which is there both in high in frequency and in quality. And the iFederation, we decided last year to have regular meetings of the iFederation. So we have agreed on 5 regular meetings of iFederation each year. And we will also be thinking of ways to have greater synergy in iFederation going forward. And in other news, we also had bylaws changes, and you all voted on those. So thank you for that. And we agreed on 2 things. One was that if the nominations committee is not able to get 2 members for every position, then people can vote on a single slate, and there would be a yes/no vote for people. But that is if the nominations committee is not able to do that. The other thing was that I had a very difficult time finding somebody to serve as the chair of the nominations committee, and a previous board had voted to have the chair of the nominations committee outside of the board, but we found that was very difficult, and we brought back the thing where the past president serves as the chair of the nominations committee, and that is a good role to have. Even Lydia and I, we went to a conference and we learned from that as well, because the past president has no interest in becoming the president. So that is a good person to lead into that effort, and that would be me going forward at this for this year. And Lydia will also be working into a succession and a continuity plan for the association. So we built that into her annual goals for this year. So I'd like to end with a poem, because I like to end with poems. So this one is called A Cog in the Wheel of Time. I wrote this poem on November 11th, 2019. And this was published in a book of poems. So the poem is called A Cog in the Wheel of Time. I look out into the woods and to the beautiful fall leaves. I wonder about my place in the world and the place of the world in me. I think of a cog rotating along with other cogs big and small, each one doing its part to help the wheel move along. And at that moment, in the thought of that cog, I see myself mirrored, for the cog was I, and I was the cog, both just doing our part. I'm just a cog in the wheel of time, and I wonder if I have value. The more I think I'm all-powerful, I see myself constrained by time, space, people, opinion, thought, and experience. I'm just a cog in the wheel of time, and I wonder if I'm chained. The more I think I'm constrained by time, space, people, opinion, thought, and experience, the more I realize the power I have hidden right within me. I might just be a cog, but I have great value and great power innate within me. When I move, the cogs around me move. When these cogs move, the cogs around them move, and soon the entire wheel moves. This is how it is with the world, the way we are, Just by being there, just by being ourselves, we make a lot of difference to the people around us, the words we say or don't say, the actions we do or don't do, and the service that we do or care not to do makes a change to the world around us. In my classroom, I may not always be the one in the front. In a team, I may not always be the leader of them all. For a nation, I may not be the head of the state. For the world, I may seem insignificant. But I'm a participant doing my part in the whole. In a classroom seated in a circle, I complete the circle. In a team, I'm the servant leader, embracing Ubuntu and bringing value through my work. For the nation and the world, I'm its citizen who strives each day to be there, to show up, to contribute, and to excel. Thus, I may just be a cog, but I'm a happy cog. I complete the other cogs, and the other cogs complete me. On our own, we are just cogs, but we sustain and we complete one another, and we make the wheel move. Thus, I am because you are, and you are because I am, and I am because we all are. That is why they call it Ubuntu. If you look out into the woods and to the beautiful fall leaves, you will see that the leaves complete the woods, and the woods complete the leaf. If you think you are just a cog, you're not alone. You are, therefore, we all are. You complete the world, you bring great value, you're useful, you're beautiful, and most of all, you're loved. Thank you.
We do. I got to get her on Zoom. Hi, everybody. I'm Lydia. We're going to find Ina here, hopefully. Garrett, could you spotlight her? Oh, yeah. Ina, could you turn on your camera so we can spotlight you? Or if you want to do it without camera, that's fine. But you are muted at the moment. While we're waiting for her, y'all know Ina Fleury. She is our treasurer. She's going to give the treasurer report, and I will give it if she doesn't pop in just a second. Ina, if you're there, you're muted. We can't hear you. Okay. In the interest of time, because we're running just a smidge late, I'm going to give the treasurer report, but please know that Ina is present. You can see her on the screen there. So I'm just going to read this because I didn't prepare to do this. So the FY22 audit is currently underway and it should be completed in the next 2 to 3 weeks. We anticipate a net revenue loss of approximately $250,000. The board budgeted a $238,000 investment in strategic initiatives, which would have resulted in a net revenue loss of approximately $201,000. In addition to this planned investment in the association, our investments in the U.S. stock market lost $254,000. What this means in layman's terms is that if the stock market had experienced gains rather than losses in FY22, an outcome entirely out of our control, we would have experienced a net gain for the year in spite of significant investments made in new publications, programs, and events. So that's, I know it sounds like bad news, but it's actually good news because the stock market will one day, we all hope, come back. During FY23, we will continue to make significant investments in new programs and services that will again result in a decrease in our reserve balance unless the market outperforms our projections. But that is very intentional investment, not accidental. We project our reserve balance at the end of the fiscal year to be at least $2.3 million, which is close to 2 years operating expense. And it is best practice in the association field to carry 1 year of operating expense. So we still have reserves available to invest in the association. The most recent audited income statement along with our U.S. tax return is always available in the documents and resources section of the ASIS website, which is under the About tab. And when the FY22 audit is done, which should be in about 6 weeks at the most to get it approved and so forth, we will get that up there. And if you would like more information on ASIS finances, please feel free to reach out to either Ina or myself. We are happy to answer any questions you have, and I will take questions right now on finances if anybody has a question. Oh, there's Ina.
Yes,
Ina, did you want to add anything?
No, I just wanted to say I was here all along, but both my mic and my video was blocked. And I saw it initially, but I thought, okay, by the time it's my turn to talk, it will be switched on. I can just add that, as Lydia also indicated in the report, we took some, what I like to call informed decision to make strategic investments. So we planned to spend money, and added onto that, there was a drop in the stock market, but stock markets, if there's a drop, you wait it out. And as Lydia also read from the report, we are in a sound position. And as Naresh also indicated, for the upcoming year, we are wisely planning to spend more strategic money if it's needed for the benefit of the association. And I can just inform you as well that I am here in the hotel. I'm at the conference. I'm just staying in my room.
Thanks. I completely forgot that we had blocked video and audio. Sorry about that. Glad we figured it out at the end. Does anybody have any questions specific to the financial report before we carry on? Thank you so much, Ina, for jumping in there. All right, nobody is leaping to their feet, so I'm going to keep moving. Ina, thank you so very much. And we will hopefully see you again later. Okay, we're going to pop back here. Thanks, Ina. Okay. So my turn. Again, I'm Lydia Middleton. I'm the executive director of ASIS. I think everybody knows that at this point, but so happy to have you all here. This, as you can see, this meeting is being live streamed and recorded. So we'll make sure that those folks at the meeting that didn't feel like getting up quite this early get a chance to catch up, as well as anybody out there in the membership that isn't able to attend the annual meeting but wants to stay informed. And for my staff that are watching the chat, if any questions pop up on the chat, if you could just let me know, that would be most appreciated. All right, I'm going to try and move pretty quickly. As you all know, I talk pretty quickly, so it's not too difficult for me to do. But a lot of what I was going to say, Naresh has already said, so I can skip over a fair amount of stuff. But the really exciting news, I think, is what's happening in membership in ASIS right now. As Naresh mentioned, we've gone from really 1,200 members to 2,400 members in 2 years. That is pretty remarkable. And, you know, it is true that the vast majority of those new members do not pay dues currently. But the fact that we are now so much more global and so much deeper in organization than we were even 2 years ago is remarkable. And the level of engagement of our new members has been tremendous. So a 17% increase from last year in membership. And most importantly, perhaps, while we very highly value our tier 2 complimentary members, we have seen a net increase of 43 paid members since July of this year. That doesn't sound like a lot, but that's the first increase we've had in paid memberships in ASIS since I've been here. So the tide is turning. We are starting to demonstrate value in membership, and people are becoming engaged. The great thing about our transition in the dues year from being, you start in July, you pay again in July, or you start in August, you pay again in August, to everybody paying in July, is anyone that joins from this point forward, we can count as a new member. And so our statistics on membership are much better. As Ina reported, our reserves are down by about 10%. That is entirely due to the change in the stock market. Otherwise, we would have turned a profit this year. So considering that we budgeted to invest $239,000 in the association, we were able to absorb all of those expenses that we did invest in operations. So that's a really significant achievement. Overall, annual meeting attendance is up 13% from last year in a hybrid meeting. And the way I counted that was number of activities that people registered for last year versus this year. And we were up by over 100 registrations for activities. Some of those were hybrid, some of them were virtual, but more people getting more engaged, which is really exciting. And then about 10% of our members serve in some volunteer capacity, whether it's with a SIGA chapter, task force, or on a committee. So that is really fabulous. As we said, 25 webinars in the last 12 months, and more than 2 a month. Thank you to all of you who put on webinars for us, and we encourage more of the same. Association-wide meetings held in the last year was the annual meeting, the 24-hour global conference, and just a couple of days ago, the Information Science Summit. And as Naresh mentioned, in 2023, we will be doing the mid-year meeting in April. So excited about that. We held 3 regional, we either held or will hold 3 regional meetings in 2022. So Asia Pacific is having a meeting in December. The European chapter held a regional meeting earlier this year, and New England always holds a fabulous symposium every year. New things in awards. We will be rolling out in 2023 the Fellows Program, which the Awards and Honors Committee under the leadership of Heidi Julian developed this year, and we will be putting that into operations in the coming year. So that is essentially a step up from the Distinguished Member Program. It's really looking at people who have made field-wide contributions, not only within ASIS, but throughout the profession. And we're really excited to start bringing in a new first class of fellows. So that you look out for that in about January, February timeframe. And as Naresh mentioned, 72 distinguished members now. And I know that there are people in this room that are not yet distinguished members officially, but you have more than likely met the criteria for it. So we will be bothering you continuously to encourage you to apply for distinguished membership. It's really just a matter of filling out some forms and letting us know what you've done to get that done. How exciting is this under publications, right? Look at all these things that we're doing now. We've already, Naresh has mentioned several of them, so I'm just going to focus on two things, Inside ASIS and Weekly Roundup. That is where we tell you what's going on. And when we did the membership survey this year, we heard many, many comments about why doesn't ASIS have this? Why doesn't ASIS do that? And the reality is we probably do have it or do it, and you just don't know it. And the place to find out whether or not we have or do something is either our website or an Inside ASIS. I work very hard every 2 months on writing my Inside ASIS column to make sure it's as informative as possible about what you need to know. And Naresh has worked very hard this past year, and I know Abebe will in the coming year, to make sure that there's good information in there. So please take the time to read it. And with the Weekly Roundup, that's the things you need to know today or tomorrow to make the most of your ASIS membership. So again, take a look at those. There is a new section to our website. This is just now rolling out, so no, I'm sure none of you are really aware of it, but we've added a student resources section to the website, and within that is an academic directory, which is not very heavily populated right now because it's going to be populated with affiliate institutional members that wish to have a listing in there. So if you wish for your institution to be listed in the academic directory, you would need to join as an affiliate institutional member. That also comes with, by the way, 3 professional memberships and 5, I think, student memberships, right, Pam? 5 student memberships for PhD students and unlimited free memberships for your master's and bachelor's degree students in ASIS. So if you're not doing that yet, you should definitely run to see Pam right away and join your institution as an institutional affiliate. We're going to be talking more about that. There's information on the membership table about that as well, but this is a brand new membership offering from the membership committee, and so we're really excited about that. Restructuring of chapters. I pretty much said the same thing last year. We haven't gotten any new chapters rolling yet, although we're really close with Canada. And so look for a Canada chapter very soon. And then I know there are folks in Australia that are ready to launch the Australia/Oceania chapter. And then Latin and South America will be the next one. But we don't have a lot of members in Latin and South America, so we're not super worried about getting that one started too soon. But once we get those 3 done, we will be pretty close to done. The the US West also needs some volunteers. So if there's anybody here in the US West that wants to work on starting a chapter, let us know. SIGs are happy and healthy, 19 of them right now. If anybody is interested in starting a new SIG because you're not finding your professional community here, let us know. We will work with you on how to do that. And very excited that SIG Health, which has been dormant for a couple of years, is making a comeback. And so keep an eye out for that if that's an area of interest for you. Last year, we talked a lot about a new consulting program. We have been moving very slowly on that because we want to be quite deliberate. And so we are going to launch a feasibility study in the next couple of months to make sure we know who we're marketing to, what we're marketing, and we have the right product for the market. We've already got about 110 or so consultants listed in our system as potential consultants, current members that want to be consultants. So we will be coming back to you and asking those of you that haven't signed up if you want to do that. On the staffing side, I'm delighted that we have the exact same staff here as we had last year. And I'll talk a little bit more about my staff in a second, but they are phenomenal. Okay, here's what membership looks like right now. 2,420 members. Oh my God, that is so many more than I even thought we would get to with the tier 2 membership. As you can see, tier 2 is close to half of our total membership. And then we have lots of our membership forces us to divide, our database forces us to divide people up into more categories than makes sense, but that's sort of an overview. But more importantly is this slide. This is where people are. So as Naresh mentioned, we are now less North American than we are everything else, with South Asia being a strong contender for, or a strong second place. And then and Africa, another one. And acknowledging the fact that the tier 2 members are primarily in Africa and South Asia. So we have got a lot of people that are not currently paying dues in those regions. I'll mention right now, although it's in my slides, I'll think in just a second, that the board did decide at the last meeting to make tier 2 membership a free benefit for 2 years. And then after 2 years, we are going to be asking tier 2 members to pay if they can. And if they can't, we're going to find ways to support them in doing that in a baby. I'll talk about that a little bit more. Things I just want to make sure you all are aware of. I talked about distinguished members already. You can, if you're having challenges paying your dues, or you know of people having challenges paying their dues, we offer multi-year memberships. We offer pay by the month memberships. And so we're very flexible, and we're looking for new ways for people outside of the normal banking systems to pay. So that is something we're working on. Just talked about the 2-year thing. And then a new thing that we just voted on at the board meeting on Saturday, I'm excited to announce lifetime membership in ASIS. We've been asked for this for a while. Yes, we've been asked for this for a while, and we are finally able to do it. This is something that will allow folks that have been members for a very long time to not have to pay dues anymore. It seems kind of crazy when you've been a member for 40+ years that you're still paying dues to the association and still giving back. So at 30 years of membership, regardless of whether it's continuous membership. So if you've been a member for 40 years, but you've only paid dues for 30 years, that's fine. It doesn't have to be, year by year. As long as 30 years of dues have been paid, then you automatically become a lifetime member. We have 17 people that are current active members that have qualified for lifetime membership. And it dawned on me last night that I need to go back and look at people that are not currently active members, but have paid 30 years of dues and make sure we get them back in as lifetime members of ASIS. So I will do that next. However, if you've been a member for like 15 or 20 years and you think, wouldn't it be nice to pay one more time and never have to pay again? We have something for you too. So we're calculating the value of lifetime membership at whatever the current professional dues rate is times 30 years. So right now that's $4,500. And so you can buy into lifetime membership for $4,500 minus whatever you've already paid ASIS&T dues. And we have a pretty good database that has all that information. So we can tell you how much that is. But as an example, if you've been a member for 20 years and paid $3,500 in dues for another $1,000, you will never have to pay dues to ASIS&T again. You'll be a lifetime member for the rest of time. So that's kind of exciting. And here are the lucky people who become lifetime members right away. And I know, Margie, I told you you are one of those people too, so I need to go back and check because I didn't see you on this list. But anyway, so these folks for sure will be getting lifetime membership when we get back to the office. So congratulations, you all. Yay. And I think maybe a couple of them are on the Zoom right now. So hey, they are. All right, I'm going to go as fast as I can here. JASIS, some news about JASIS. We just renegotiated our contract with Wiley. It has been a tough renegotiation, and in the world of open access, the financial impact on ASIS of that renegotiation is significant. We're going to be down about $125,000 over the next per year over the next 4 years of the contract. So we're trying to figure out ways to supplement that income and address the issue. The other thing that went away as a result of that contract negotiation is print JASIS. I often hear from you guys, how do I make print JASIS stop? I don't want it anymore. Well, we've taken care of that now because Wiley's not printing it for members anymore. It will still be available in print in libraries, but members are not going to receive a print copy anymore. So starting January 1st, you'll get your December one in the mail any day now. And then starting January 1st, there will not be any more print ones. So just heads up on that. We are going to be closing our physical office. I think most of you are aware we haven't been in our physical office for the better part of the last 2 years. But I inherited a 10-year lease on the office space. So finally on February 1st of 2024, our lease ends. And so we're working on getting ourselves out of our office. We're going to take the next year to do that thoughtfully. Our curator will be coming in to figure out how to deal with the physical information assets. And we're selling off furniture and so forth. This will all be invisible to all of you. I just want you to be aware that it's happening because we have been, like I said, we've been working virtually for 2 years. So nothing's going to change from that perspective. Annual meeting 23 in London. Yay. I think everybody's excited about that. As you may know, we have a meeting pattern policy that we meet 2 years in a row in North America and then 1 year either in Asia Pacific or Europe, depending on where we were the previous year. So we were in Melbourne a couple of years ago. Of course, COVID threw this off, so we're off by a year, but Melbourne in 19. We'll be in Europe, in London in 24. And so then back in Asia in 25, 6, 7. So that is, or 6, whatever it is. That's what we'll be in Asia next. So very excited about that. Great hotel. It's not going to be inexpensive, folks. Sorry, but international meetings are very expensive for us to run. We will try to absorb as much of the cost of the added cost to us into our own operations as possible, but the fees will have to adjust accordingly. The hotel itself is quite reasonable, though. It's £179 a night. Yep. Yeah. So in London, that is a bargain. So we're excited about that. Naresh already talked about the member survey, so I'm not going to spend any time on that other than to say in the next Inside ASIS, there will be a synopsis of what was in the member survey, what you told us, and what we're going to do as a result of what you asked for or told us you need. Okay, almost there. I want to send thank yous to a few people. First, my board of directors. What a fabulous team of people who guide me and support me and provide the leadership and direction for this association, and without whom I could definitely not do my job. Well over 200 dedicated and committed and engaged volunteers in so many different roles, SIGs, chapters, committees, juries, review panels, editorial boards. All of you, thank you so much. There's not enough opportunities to thank the volunteers. We will be doing that in the next Inside ASIS as well, so keep an eye out for that. And of course, my team. What a team. Same people here this year as last year. I think it's the first time in my career that I went to an annual meeting with the same people. So if they're all in the room, hopefully they are. Could I ask y'all to stand up, please? There's one over there, one there, one there. And Aminta's probably still at the registration desk because she's so darn committed. So thanks to all of you guys. Very grateful. Whoops, and I just left my slides too soon. Hang on. All right. If you haven't seen her yet, this is Bella. She's my partner in crime. And she was very angry at me for making her wear an ASIS jacket. As you can see, because she usually smiles, but that's Bella. She'll be around a little bit later if you want to see her. But more importantly, if you don't have an ASIS jacket yet and want one, by all means, see us at the registration desk. We do have them available still. And then this is just a really fun picture that I thought I would share. This is 11 of the past presidents of ASIS all together last night. Past or future past, I should say, presidents of ASIS. This is the most we've had at an annual meeting, certainly in my tenure at ASIS. And so what fun to have them all together and looking so phenomenal. And that brings me to the end of my remarks. Thank you all very much.
Thank you, Lydia. As you can see, there was a lot of work that happened in the past year and a lot of continuing work going forward. And I'd like to recognize the following people, all of whom can collect their certificates of appreciation following the business meeting. Awards and Honors Committee, Heidi Julian. History Committee, Tatiana Aparek Helusek. Membership Committee, Daniel Alemne. Nominations Committee, Steve Hardin. Professional Development Committee, Luis Spinelli. Publications Committee, Karen Daly. Research Engagement Committee, Becky Wilson, and Standards Committee, Mark Needleman, and the DEIA Task Force, or the IDEA Task Force, Clara Chu and Jay Raju. So what a fabulous group of people and the teams that they led. So thank you all so much for your huge and tremendous amount of effort. And I'd like to introduce Crystal Fulton, who will announce the chapter awards presented at the chapter assembly meeting. Do this now?
Sure, why not?
I thought it was to give somebody else.
Somebody else, but so this one be else. Does somebody take a picture?
Kathy's got it.
Thank you very much. So I have the happy job of announcing the awards for chapters this year. We had 5 awards. The student chapter of the year was Simmons University. The chapter member of the year was Bakigala. The chapter event of the year went to the European chapter's Information Science Trends event that they hold every summer. The chapter publication of the year went to South Asia for their wonderful video project. And the chapter of the year went to Europe. So thank you. And thank you, Naresh.
I would like to call Eileen Emery, who will announce the SIG Awards presented at the SIG Cabinet meeting and recognize those individuals who are going off the SIG Cabinet Steering Committee this year. Kathy?
Okay, so good morning, everybody. I'm also very honored to introduce the ZIG Awards. We have this year 3 awards. So I will start with the ZIG Award of the Year. So this year, the ZIG Award of the Year did go to ZIG Knowledge Management. They did many activities, different activities, tried to connect with all of their members over the world. And for them, I would say, let us make a big applause. And then I will also continue with the ZIG Member of the Year award. And this award goes to Lu An. She is at the Wuhan University. Unfortunately, she can't be able to be here, but was also chair of ZIG Knowledge Management. Also, please. And then, I'm not sure, this is the first time in the year with the ZIG publication. Yeah, right. So that was really interesting because the jury committee did receive this year many publications for the ZIG Publication of the Year award. And maybe some of you remember when the previous cabinet directors also remembered, please submit publication, newsletter, whatever your ZIG created. And this year we really got a lot. And that's the reason why we have 2 ZIG Publication of the Year awards. The first, or one of those, goes to ZIG DL. That award, Angelina Heinz already received. They produced a newsletter with a lot of interesting content in it. One part was, for example, about research. So members has the chance to talk about research. But they also did, for example, an analysis of their own social media account to talk to their members and to show them what they are doing. And the other Publication of the Year award did go to ZIG Youth. And maybe some of you know they had a very interesting special issue. And you can see therefore we have different kind of publications and both of them are should be valued, and therefore they got the 2 awards. Thank you so much. And also thank you, Naresh.
Thank you, Eileen. I'd like to recognize the board members who are concluding their term. I'd like to invite them on stage. And the first person is Brian Detler, who was a great support to me, and I learned a lot from him in the past year that I worked. So thank you so much, Brian, for all that you did. And just to tell you about the kind of support that Ryan has provided, I forgot to bring something from my room right now, and he rescued me and just got that back. So thank you, Brian, for your support in many ways. And Ana Maria Tamaro is not here, but we also recognize her, and she's going off the board that year, and she's been tremendous as well. She even helped us edit one of the translations to a page, and all the translators also received certificates. I'd like to introduce the board members who are not previously introduced: Joan Bartlett, Maria Bond, Tina Du, and Dan Wu, who's not here right now. So thank you. I'd like to recognize our incoming board members who will take office this afternoon and ask them to stand, please. Crystal Fulton, President-elect. Lisa Hussey, Member-at-Large. And Eileen Emery, Member-at-Large. Thank you. Thank you all. And I'd like to introduce Abebe Rorisa, for the symbolic passing of the gavel. And he will take office officially this afternoon. I'm very excited about that. So thank you, baby.
Thank you.
Oh, you want a picture?
Yeah. Okay. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Yep. All right.
I come
So
here.
now it is my turn to return the favor, right? So thank you for your leadership. I know I'm going to thank you formally, but really for a great leadership with a smile, right? Thank you.
Now I'd invite Abebe to speak and provide his vision for the year.
Thank you, Naresh. If you are here for the breakfast, this is a good time to leave. No, I'm kidding, of course. Thank you, Naresh. Thank you for your excellent leadership, as always. And now I have to work twice as hard to maintain the high standard you set. ASIS members, oops.
You're good, you're good.
I'm good, okay. ASIS members will be in for a surprise when you receive the Inside ASIS in about a couple of months, right? Because there's not going to be a poem, there's not going to be any paintings at the end of it. I cannot draw a straight line, and English is my second language, so don't expect anything like that. So, yep, you've been spoiled. That's why, I think that's the more reason why we have to be grateful. We have to thank Naresh again for his leadership. Please give him a round of applause again. I would also like to echo Naresh in thanking Lydia and her excellent team, Kathy, Bam, Garrett, and Minta, who is somewhere. Yes, there you are. Thank you again, really, for making us look good, for making all of us really, look great, and with all your hard work. So thank you again. Lydia's energy, as you know, and passion for ASIS, no one can match it, and it's just amazing. So we just have to try to keep up. So please give Lydia again a round of applause. So I'm not going to give you a long speech because you didn't come for the speech, right? So I know in the last 12 months, Naresh outlined the excellent work Naresh, Lydia and her team, and the board, and all of you as members did. Because this is a volunteer association, we all contribute to the success of the association and its members. So our job, the current board, and those of you in committee chairs, SIG chairs, chapter chairs, all we need to do is build on the great foundation that was built not just in the last year, but in the last 85 years. That is amazing. An association that stayed strong and grew for 85 years. So whenever I take on a new job, my first principle is don't screw up, right? So I hope we don't screw this up. Yep. So in terms of initiatives, I think Naresh put it really well. Don't fix if it is not broken, right? So I think with Brian Deathlor, with his vision and the strategic thinking, gave us a strategic plan, which we can stick to and do a great job. So that's what we're going to do. Thank you, Brian, again for your work and the team. Yep. Thank you. So somebody asked me last night, what is your theme for the year? I didn't think of that. So now, so I had to come up with one. I had to come up with one. So if it is lame, I apologize. So I'm going to call it membership and collaboration. I hope you like it. So here it goes. Yes. I believe an association that works hard on the recruitment, retention, and development of its members is a strong association. In other words, we want to keep ASIS strong. To do that, we must put members at the center of everything we do, whether it is an activity or a new initiative. Members should be at the center of all. I believe we have done recruitment well. That's why, as Lydia reported, we added around 1,200 members, right, in the last year. I am really proud for the fact that, is Diane here? Diane Sonnenwald? All right, thank you, Diane, for getting us started on the internationalization of ASIS. I remember about 10, 12 years ago when you were president, and you said to some of us, give me some ideas where we can make ASIS a global association. With your and everybody else who contributed to that, I believe ASIS is a global association that has members in over how many countries? I don't have that number. Probably. Yep.
A lot.
I would just say a lot. Yes, I would just say a lot, right? So a lot, and thank you, Diane, and leaders who supported that. Thank you. Yep. So we bring in members, but we need to keep them, right? If we don't retain new members, we're not going to grow. So in terms of retention, there's a couple of initiatives. These are new, but they align well with the strategic plan. So we're going to create an endowment fund. I think Lydia alluded to that hopefully will do a good job of raising funds for that. So that will go towards not just recruitment, but retention and development of members. And introducing the lifetime membership program that Lydia mentioned is really great. I was doing the math when she was mentioning, I need $1,200, I think, to apply. So if you can donate that, I would love to come do anything you want, right? So some of you really take advantage of this. This is a great opportunity. You don't have to worry about dues. You don't have to worry about those emails about renewing your membership. You're a member for life, okay? Take advantage of that. So an association needs to create value for its membership. How do we do that? Because members come to us for professional and leadership development. And for recognition. Look what we did today and in the last couple of days, right? Deserving winners of awards. So that is recognition. That is advancing their professional development. And the new leaders program, the fellows program, distinguished member program, and the proposed mentoring program will help us do that, will help us create more value for our members. Finally, the second piece of my LAME theme is collaboration. Collaboration within the association, collaboration among chapters and SIGs. I think we are seeing that more and more these days. I'm really happy about that. If you remember last year, the 24-hour conference was a real collaboration between chapters and SIGs, and that's what we want to see. And also, I've heard many of you say that ASIS needs to diversify its membership, right? So we need to find pockets of members wherever we can find. We need to bring in new voices into the association. How do we do that? Through collaboration. We're not going to do everything on our own. And I think a very good example of that is the Information Science Summit. I don't know if Sanda or Anthony Chow are here today. Okay, all right. So they did an excellent job on the Information Science Summit. That is collaboration between ASIS, ALIS, and the iSchool organization. So we have to do more of that. And through the iFederation, I think Naresh mentioned about their meetings. We're going to continue to have those meetings and brainstorm on ideas, and most importantly, come up with actions to actually make sure that we work together to benefit members of all the associations and hopefully establish new partnership with others. Well, the initiatives are focused on membership recruitment, retention and development, and collaboration between its various groups and other outside groups. It is important that diversity, equity, and inclusion remain the driver of everything we do. We need to hear from various voices. How many of you have been to a few sessions this week? I mean, that, wow, I didn't think of that. I said that a few times already, just in the last 24 hours. So we need to do that. We need to really bring it in. And I'm confident that the 2023 mid-year conference committee co-chaired by my good friend, Hima Iyer, and Iman Hilal, a very powerful leader in the Africa chapter, and the annual meeting program committee with the leadership of Ian Redfern and Heather O'Brien. We're gonna do that. So hopefully you will join us both at the mid-year conference and the annual meeting in 2023. And thank you for your support, and please continue to be great, and hopefully ASIS will be great with your help. Thank you again.
Thank you so much, Abebe. I'm looking forward to a year of working with you and just keeping the ball rolling. Things are exciting, and they're going to keep getting more so. So we talked a little bit about our new publications. We have the editors-in-chief of those two publications, not on Zoom, but on video. So we're gonna watch that. And I was talking to Steve Sawyer last night and realizing we should really have him here reporting on the state of JSIST as well as editor-in-chief, but he is on a boat floating around in a river somewhere right now. So he can't be here this morning, but he's here with us in spirit, and we can report that JSIST is doing well. Submissions up, articles, royalties up, et cetera. Not royalties, I shouldn't say that because they're not, but subscriptions are up. So, but it's interesting what the pressure for open access is doing to the entire world of publishing, and our publications committee is going to look at that a bit in the coming year. So we will talk more about that. Okay, give me a sec to figure out where I'm going. I cannot minimize, all right? Yeah. All right, we're going to hear from Shirag first, because I've got that teed up. So let's go, Shirag.
Hi, and thanks for giving me this time to talk about Information Matters. As many of you know, Information Matters is ASIS's latest digital platform. Hi, and thanks for giving me this time to talk about Information Matters. As many of you know, Information Matters is ASIS' latest digital platform for. Hi, and thanks for giving me this time to talk about Information Matters. As many of you know, Information Matters is ASIS' latest digital platform for publication. We launched this platform just a year ago at last year's annual meeting. So we're quite young, but we still have come a long way with this platform. And I want to emphasize that, a platform, because we not only have been publishing articles, but also videos, stories, and podcasts. Our articles are short, typically 500 to 2,000 words, and written with general public in mind. So they are quite accessible and tend to reach audience that's beyond your typical scholarly circle. So what have we been publishing and how do we do it? Well, one of the things we publish is summaries of your recent papers. So if you had a paper in JASIS or any other journal or conference, think about creating a public access, easy to read, short version of it that summarizes what you did and found for anyone not familiar with your area. We also publish opinion pieces, tutorials, and call to action. We're able to get this out within days of submission. Not only that, we add appropriate graphics, pull codes, and provide really attractive packaging around your words. Then we work hard to get that out. We're getting these articles indexed in Google Scholar and other places, and even getting DOIs for them. We leverage our social media presence on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn to spread the word about your scholarship, your ideas, and about you. We have readership from all over the world, including Latin America and Africa. This is a great way to increase your visibility and impact in the world. So those of you who are looking for that kind of recognition and networking opportunities, this is a very easy, no-brainer thing to do. As a reader, you can expect to see a lot of useful material from us. There are new ideas and concepts that you can use in your classrooms. There are summaries of and theories of tutorials that can be very useful to students and professionals. We have Jenna Hurdles running a series on information science videos, what's called InVideo. These videos are short, they are full of animations, beautiful sounds, and lots of easy to understand graphics. So they're perfect for education uses. And we have Shalini Urs interviewing prominent scholars in the field under our InfoFire series. You can watch these videos on YouTube or subscribe to our podcast to listen on the go. Are you teaching a class that uses a paper by one of these prominent scholars? How about you invite them to your class for fireside chat? Have their video play in your classroom or have your students listen to that podcast episode. I mean, think about the impact that could make on your students. We're also the only platform in ASIS that publishes non-English content, specifically in Spanish and Chinese. In other words, we are really bridging the world of information science, even across languages and cultures. We have excellent editorial board with members from around the world, and also a student leadership board with students coming from many countries and continents. We're constantly looking for new content, ideas, and readers. So please reach out to me if you're interested. We're also starting to look for sponsorships. So if you're looking to get the word out about your school, your program, your hiring needs to thousands of people in the field, talk to us and see what we can do for you. Thank you again, and I hope to see you on Information Matters.
All right. Now I think